us by accident sent the invite for this meeting. So some of you usually attend to our TCC meeting. Feel free to stay, but you could also leave the meeting if you prefer that. We are during this meeting, we're just going to discuss the same items that the TCC review in our last August 10th meeting. So if, of course, Chantagubi, Sam, if you want to stay, you feel free to stay. The same as Terry, that is our guest. But we're going just to discuss the same items during this meeting. Mayor Connolly, good afternoon.
Yes. Are we ready?
I think we are. I think we have reached quorum based on just the people in the meeting. I think, Rachel, can you do a roll call?
Sure.
Just to make sure.
PJ Connolly.
Here.
Ricky Hines.
Looks like he's on mute still.
Yep, I see him.
Here.
Melvin McLaughlin.
Here.
Steve Tripp. Richard Zeck.
I'm here.
Thomas Taft. Tony Moore. Alex Albright. Hugh Overholt.
Hey, Rachel, this is James. Commissioner Albright is an alternate, and since Mr. McLaughlin is here, he opted not to attend today.
Okay. We're still okay, Mayor Connolly, so you can proceed.
All right, sounds good. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Any changes, Iliad?
No, everything on the agenda is what we plan to discuss today.
All right, sounds good. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Melvin
So moved.
McLaughlin.
All right, motion's been made by Commissioner McLaughlin, second by Mayor Zeck. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. I'll call on Rachel for the vote.
PJ Connolly.
Aye.
Ricky Hines.
Aye.
Melvin Moore or McLaughlin.
Aye.
And Richard Zeck.
Aye.
All right. We will move on to the ethics, awareness, and conflict of interest reminder. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in that particular matter involved. All right, we'll move on to the public comment period. Ilya, do we have anyone that has signed up for the public comment period?
No, nobody signed up for the public comment period.
All right, let's move on to item number 3. We'll close the public comment period. We'll move on to item number 3, regular agenda. Iliad, if you want to go with A, that'd be great.
Yes, within the agenda packet, page 3, you have the meeting minutes of our last TAC meeting. This is an action item for the approval of the board.
All right. Do I have a Motion to approve.
So move, Melvin McLaughlin.
All right. I got a second.
So move, Rich Zach.
All right. Motion's been made by Commissioner McLaughlin, second by Mayor Zach. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Call on Ms. Manning for the vote.
Also, after I call for the vote, if there's any voting member that has logged on that I'm not seeing, if you could say your name so I can get you down. PJ Connolly,
Aye.
Ricky Hines,
Aye.
Melvin McLaughlin,
Melvin McLaughlin, aye.
and Richard Zeck.
Aye.
All right. We'll move on to item number letter B, 3B. Iliad.
Yes, item 3B is the amendments to our FY 2020-2029 Transportation Improvement Program. The pages related to that item are on page 6 of the agenda packet. Basically, every time we have changes to the schedule or cost of the project in the TIP, it prompts that amendment. It could either be initiated by the MPO, RPO, or MPO or DOT. Today's amendment is a combination of projects. So a standard tip amendment includes requests from DOT and revisions, and they are always referred as item N. That's why in the attachments that you list, you see the projects, that's where the item N handout shows. That's why it is named as item N. So for these amendments that we're reviewing today for board approval, our first edition of a safety project. It was submitted by the Safety Office, the Transportation, Mobility, and Safety Division, this is the item, the project Hs2002 Let me see if I could zoom in better. I think that will help us here. Okay, so the project is to be set for construction in FY23 for $120,000. And let me see if I could. Since this is a new project, I just want to make sure our board knows where it is. Let me see. Okay, so the project is located here in NC33, between NC33 Memorial Drive and Doddridge Drive, in the north side of the river, north side of Greenville. And let me go back to the list. So the next projects are just modifications to existing projects in the STIP. And those are first the Bill Grant projects. The EB6042 is the construction of multi-use path at various locations. That includes all the projects, Greenway projects in the Bill Grant award that was received by the city of Greenville. We are at the request of the agreement and the city. We are updating the project cost, schedule, and so on. The same with the second component, the U6240. That's the rehabilitation realignment of 5th Street from Cadillac to Reed Circle. It's the same project that the board has approved before, and the same project that you have heard about the Bill Grant. It's just changes in the schedule and the cost as the new updates to the cost have come up, and we are finalizing we have finalized the agreement with the official way. So the next project is Hs2002 E. This project we have the board has seen it before. We've been I think it was the beginning of the year when it was added. We vote on to approve and add it to the STIP. Now they're removing the right-of-way that it was previously programmed for 2022. So the intersection is an intersection project in Greenville Boulevard and the Opak Tollus Road intersection. They are building a restricted crossing intersection, and it is set for construction in FY23. The rest of the projects are different safety improvements in various locations of Division 2. Not necessarily means that are going to happen within the MPO, but it's a standard procedure to approve them at the division level. So all the planning organizations that fall within Division 2 or the regional level of the statewide level have to approve them. So it is just adding construction for FY23 that it was not previously programmed. I think it was in our last meeting, no, the February meeting that we approved for FY22, and now they are in construction for FY23. And those are at the division level, the regional level, and the statewide level. In terms of project deletions, we have 3 TIP IDs projects that are going to be deleted. The reason of those is the build grant projects are just going to be lumped into one project. So we used to have all the components separate, and now we are just to keep a better track of these projects. We are just lumping all the multi-use paths as they are going to be built within the same contract. So they are being removed from the step. And those are all the amendments. I have the resolution that for approval of those amendments, and behind that, after that, in page 9, are those projects that we just discussed. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that our board have regarding this.
Are there any questions?
So if not, I would request the TAC to adopt the amendments to the TIP.
All right. Do I have a motion to adopt the amendments?
I make the motion to adopt the amendments.
I second it.
All right. Motion's been made by Mayor Zek, second by Mayor Hines. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I'll call on Ms. Manning for the vote.
EJ Connolly,
Aye.
Ricky Hines,
Aye.
Melvin McLaughlin,
Melvin McLaughlin, aye.
and Richard Zek.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to item C, 3C. Iliad?
So this item is a presentation. The planning division engineer Phil Gary will be presenting the draft Pitt County Comprehensive Transportation Plan. We have been working in this project since I think is the last quarter or mid-year of 2020. And right now we have finally a draft recommendation list of projects that are for our review. They have been in these couple of months, they have been going to each municipality within the county to present these draft recommendations. Within the agenda packet in page 14 on, you'll have the slides that Phil will be presenting, plus you will have the working maps right after. That's page 26. You will have all the working maps that have all the highway recommendations and the listing of all those recommendations. So Phil, if you would like to start, I could move the slides if you prefer that.
Thanks, Elliot. That'd be great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Like Elliot said, we've been working on this Pitt County Comprehensive Transportation Plan, or CTP, for the past couple of years. It's been a good effort despite COVID. It's been a wild couple of years, but been making good progress. I have a lot of people on the call that have helped. James with the county, Brian with Winterville, a lot of NCDOT staff as well. Nick, Glenn, Jeff, Diane. With me at my specific division, also I got Scott Walston, my supervisor, on the call, and Amanda Killian. Anybody feel free to jump in if you have questions. So as Elliot said, we've been working on the Pitt County Comprehensive Transportation Plan update. The last one was done in the early 2000s. It's been a long time coming. Next slide, please. this is a informational item, and we're hoping to get local adoptions in early 2023. Next slide, please. The three things I'm going to go over today, summed up here: what is a CTP, and then going into the specific recommendations for Pitt County, and then lastly, our next steps and schedule. So the first thing, what is a CTP, or a comprehensive transportation plan? It's a long-range plan where we went to the year 2045 for this plan, and it does cover multiple modes: highway, bicycle, pedestrian, public transit, and rail. And like I said, we had a lot of help with this. We're based in Raleigh, so we definitely want to get the locals input on that. So we had the Greenville Mpo, the Mid-East RPO with Sam, Pitt County and its municipalities, and then us as well. And the whole reason that I have a job is NC General Statute 136-66.2, and that's what guides the mandated transportation plans that we help develop for the whole state. Next slide, please. A little bit more about what is a CTP. We try to incorporate the land use plans, community and statewide goals, which we derive from surveys. So we also reach out to the public. None of these recommendations you'll see in the draft plan are tied to money. There's no fiscal constraint. They're just concepts, basically a list of needs. So as those sub bullets say, these concepts will need to be funded later, and they will need additional analysis to determine the final location and design. Right now, they're just big picture. So if you see a line on the map, it's not final, it's just a need. And the last bullet there, it's a common long-range vision for facilities among local governments, the MPO and RPO, and NCDOT as well. Next slide, please. And this is the last slide I have on what is a CTP. This is just an infographic to talk about the big picture. Everything you see out there on the ground had to start here at the CTP level. Again, we're just determining the need and long-range planning. And so while we're doing that for Pitt County, all the counties around the state are also developing their needs list. And since we don't have unlimited money, we have to score those needs and figure out what is the highest priority. Sort of like a house. If you have a bunch of stuff broken in your house, you're probably going to fix the most important stuff like the roof. And in this analogy, it'd be the most congested stuff. Where is the most traffic? That compiles most of the score, as y'all probably know. The third step there is project planning and design. So once you're funded, we dive in and make sure we minimize the impacts. And then we finally buy the land, move the utilities that are in the way. And then after build it, we got to maintain it for the whole project. Next slide, please. So that was all about what is a CTP. So diving into your county specifically, in the end, we had 94 highway recommendations, and those can be found on sheet 2A of 4. And we had 157 bicycle and pedestrian recommendations, and those can be found on sheet 4A. There's a lot in there. I'm not going to go over all of it today, but it just as a big picture, it does incorporate y'all's MTP as well as some additional recommendations. You can also view them online at tinyurl.com/pitctp. And next slide, please. Thanks, Elliot. These are just quick visuals of the highway and bike and ped recommendations. So as you can see on the left there, all those concepts, again, aren't fiscally constrained, but all the colors and icons are explained on the right there with the legend of why that need is there. For example, the red is a congestion problem, so we want to add lanes. The dark blue is a access management operational project, so you'll have the future interstate there west of Greenville in dark blue. That's an operational change. And then modernization, widening lanes, and the other for safety and economic development. And you'll also have intersection improvements. There's a lot of those for safety concerns and operation. Yeah, I think that covers that slide. And then the next slide is bike and ped recommendations. So on the left, you have some insets there of all the bike and ped recs. Again, this incorporates the MTP, so there are a lot of side paths, multi-use paths, which accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians. The MTP had us pull those out of the roadway, so it is a little safer for the side paths. You'll see those in brown, and then the yellow is proposed bikes, and the purple proposed pedestrians or sidewalks. Next slide, please. But this concerns public involvement. We are scheduling public drop-in sessions in the future. We'll probably have a virtual aspect of that also. The website there is the link again. It'll have the maps you just looked at. If you ever want to dive into the detail, check out a certain area, feel free to email me any comments. Again, this is a draft, so it's still in work. And there's a survey also at the bottom that can be found on the website too. Next slide, please. So the final step in this whole process is local adoptions. Again, we're hoping to get that in early 2023. The minimum requirements are there at the top. Basically, we'll request y'all, for example, to adopt a portion of the CTP in the MPO jurisdiction and state the relevant land development plan. The optional things at the bottom there are a public hearing, and then you can also, if you want, endorse the rest of the plan that is outside the MPO. And then after we get all the municipalities, the MPO, and the county to adopt, NCDOT board is last to adopt. And if y'all have any questions, I have one person from the Pitt County staff's contact information there, Ben, but we had a whole lot of help from them and my information as well. And then if anybody wants to, we can dive into these maps, but there's a lot there. I would suggest y'all look at it in your own time. And if you have any questions or comments, again, feel free to email me.
All right, are there any questions? I don't think so. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Phil.
Thanks, y'all.
Guess we'll move on to the next item, Iliad.
Yes, the next item is the 3D. It is page 48 of the packet. This is the update regarding the STIP, the draft STIP. So the FY 2024 to 2033 STIP. We have seen this draft STIP. We saw the draft STIP in our last meeting. We got since our last meeting, I think it was at the beginning of August, that the NCDOT released an updated or revised draft STIP for comments, and we are. For this item, we're going to show the differences from the revised to the previous one compared to the reprogramming step and the swap opportunities that we still have. Just to give you a little bit of information of what led to that revision, the Appropriations Act of 2022 was signed to law in July 25, and the budget included some portion of the state's sales tax revenue to the Highway Trust Fund, which increased the amount of funds available for the STIP. So as a result, DOT got approximately $5 billion of funding to program over 10 years of this new STIP that is going to be released and adopted in next year. So on August 4th, DOT released that revised STIP based on the latest revenue forecast and additional revenue from the sales tax. So they did went to select these projects as they got more funding. They followed the same methodology that they did. Diane gave us a presentation of last time that we discussed of the delivery projects, then going to the P3, P4, P5 evaluation, so seniority approach, and that it was recommended by the work group, and we were also informed about. And as a result, we have regained projects within our MPO area. A copy of the revised STIP for the MPO area in Excel is available in this hyperlink with the agenda packet. A couple among the things that DOT has been working on, this is one of them that is very neat, that the STIP is now available in spreadsheet format, which simplifies the search and the tweaking of just searching and getting the price that you want to review. So within the file, you have a tab that shows the projects that are in the STIP. Then the swap projects, there's another tab that the swap candidates are available. And also you have another tab that shows you even more information about the swaps, showing you the status before the reprogramming and after the revision, the latest revisions. So it's a great resource if you want to look at all the projects that are within the MPO area. So the MPO staff has reviewed the revised draft STIP, and attached to this page 50 is the report that shows kind of go through the summary of the differences between the STIP, the draft STIP, and the revised draft STIP. So I mean the 2029 STIP, the previous STIP with this new STIP, and the revised STIP comparison. So another thing I put here is that none of the projects that you're going to see in this list are new P6 projects. The projects in P6, as it was halted, no new projects will be added to this new STIP. Although we definitely, I would say we have, compared to other areas, we have favorably fared with these changes. And DOT will hold public meetings droppings in fall. The specific days, I think they either released recently or they're about to release. And we have the MPO, RPOs, divisions have until March 17 of 2023 to request project swaps. Before that, when we met in June, we had until the end of August or end of September. Now we have until March 13 to have those discussions locally. So the MPO will review the potential swaps. We will discuss them with the local jurisdictions ahead of our future TCC and TAC meetings. And if the swaps are identified and approved by their local governments, we will then support the swap at the MPO level in our future meetings, either the December meeting or the February meeting. So going to the report, skipping ahead, this is the report. It shows the differences. It is a similar format of what we have seen in our last meeting, but all the changes were marked in red. Basically, all the projects in Table 1 are still not funded. They are projects that actually were not committed. Before the term was used, before we had delivery projects term, the not committed funds or not committed projects meant that they needed to be rescored again and compete for prioritization funds in the next cycle. So basically, from 2020, 2029 to this new STIP, we then now have all the projects that were regardless going to compete for funding next cycle are still in that list. And in terms of committed projects or projects that are delivery and funded, our table, the second table, and we have within the projects that we submitted for STI funds, we have projects that were previously committed and then removed, the funding were removed during the programming, and now with this revision, is finally brought back to the STIP. So in comparison to what we reviewed in June, let's say to what we are seeing now, we finally have those two projects that were previously thought that they were going to be funded, they're finally funded. And so far, they are going to be in the new STIP. And those are the Greenville signal system. And they have kept the same schedule as the reprogramming of 2026 for utilities and construction for FY 2028. And the Worthington Road intersection at County Home Road. It was previously unfunded in our during the last draft step. Now the revise is funded and is scheduled again, the same schedule as the reprogramming times in 2020 August. So the right of way is 2027, construction is 2029. I know there was a lot of information. Feel free to jump in if any board member have any questions before. Maybe let's open for questions before we proceed with the next steps on the step adoption.
I don't have any questions, but all I was thinking of was thank the Lord that the signalization's back in there. I wasn't too happy about that last meeting. So I appreciate the fact that that's going to be funded, because that is extremely, extremely important for Greenville.
Yeah, I think this is the change in revenue is a good step forward in passing this budget. I think it will help in our future cycles as well. And so now talking about the future. So we discussed already, I mentioned the swap deadline. We have also we have to approve this TIP, our section of the step next year. So the final step, it is anticipated to be presented to the Board of Transportation on May 2023. And then the MPO will approve the final TIP during the summer of next year. During that same summer, our board will be also reviewing the prioritization P7. We will have the kickoff meeting, and then it will, during fall and spring of 2023, we will have that submittal window of new projects, including the projects that are in the first table of the report that are going to be carryover, basically, and lumped in with the price that we are submitting as an MPO. So this there's no action required. It's just an information item that I wanted to bring to our board's attention. And attached, as I said, is the report that shows the differences. The revised step that shows all the projects within the MPO beyond STI. So you have the safety projects, you have some transit projects, build grant projects, and so on. And after that, and that is page 56, you actually have the list of the swap projects that are in our area that are eligible for swapping, as long as we comply with the parameters. And then you have this even more detailed swap comparison that shows you the prioritization cycle, the scoring, information that could be used for locals to assess these projects, as maybe some priorities have changed and shifted through the years. So the parameters of doing that swapping are attached in page 58. This is an important rules to make the swapping happen. Of course, we have discussed that the project has to be remaining within 110% of the project cost that you're swapping. You cannot swap a small project for a big project, and you have to be mindful of the funding source, and you have to be mindful of the schedule. So feel free, if any board would like to discuss any of the swap projects that are in that list of the 56, and would like to swap maybe the projects that are in that page within the report, the first table, with the projects in the second table, feel free to reach out and we will review if there any possibility. And we will be doing that as well with just to check if there's actually any potential. Page 59, it has the schedule that I just briefly mentioned of what's the next steps, the public comment period, and then we will the adoption of the final step, and then the approval of that step from our MPO, and then the P7 work group will start, and we will have the submittal window opening during summer of 2023, which it will. So just to be aware that this is a future item that we will we will definitely see throughout and hear more about. I think that is all regarding that item. Does anybody has any questions?
Any questions? No. Guess we can move on.
Yes.
Item number 4, other discussion items. I guess we'll start with A1.
Yes, for the members, I just wanted to, in previous occasions we have maybe skip some of the presentations, but I think this time we have some information that I want to make the board aware of, as in the horizon you will hear more about it. We're gonna start with Len and Diane in Division 2 updates, and then and Nick with Integrated Mobility Division. So Len, are you there, Diane?
This is Diane. I'm not sure if Lynn is there.
I am, Diane.
Oh, you go ahead, Lynn. You're really good at this.
I don't know about that, but okay. In the package you see, we've included the construction report and a few division update.
And Len, sorry to interrupt. Can you try to speak a little bit higher? I could barely hear you. I don't know if it's happening the same with other members.
Okay, how about now? Is that better?
A little bit better, yes.
Okay, yeah, in the package you see, we've got the construction report and the division updates. Not a lot's changed other than the Dickinson Avenue project, U5606. We did get a signed agreement with the contractor as of yesterday to rephase that project. Their plans are to start construction September 6th. So about a week and a half right after Labor Day, they'll be mobilizing and getting started. They've got enough utility material to make it happen. They will be starting the section 4 kind of in the middle of the run, and come spring, about March, that's when they're anticipating being down near Reed Circle. The I-587 re-signing is about 25% complete, probably maybe closer to 30. But that's going to be a big project. It's going to take a while based on getting materials in for it. That's really what we've got there. Going back to Dickinson Avenue, I did want to say, though, the public involvement team is working on updating the website, and they're making contact with the previous folks they had met with before about the rescheduling of it. And they're going to be rescheduling a meeting with the business owners in the coming weeks to let them know what's going on. That's what I have. Diane, you got anything else?
No, I don't have anything else to add. Everything's in the packet on pages 60 through 63. And also just a reminder about the swapping. Elliot had mentioned this, but it's an important date. March 17th in the spring, St. Patrick's Day, is the deadline for having all the swaps submitted. So that's something we need to think about over the next few months. And if anyone has any questions or wants more details on that, I'll be happy to help.
And Len, can you send me that information for about Dickinson Avenue by email, about the construction the construction date and when they're going to start, which area of the project?
Yes, I'll get that to you, no problem.
Thank you. And attached, of course, within the package, Len was able to provide us the new resurfacing projects. There, as I think the TCC requested more details, and we were able to include them in the packet under the construction reports from Diane. If any member has any questions, if any members, if the members don't have any questions, we could proceed with the integrated mobility updates.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Nick here. Just a couple of things from IMD. One is that the Great Trail State Plan, that final draft has been published to the Connect page. So I encourage folks to go take a look at that. Some really great, useful information that shared use path connectivity across the state there. With the Multimodal Planning Grant Program, which was formerly the Planning Grant Initiative, but that's what we used to fund our local bike and pedestrian plans. We got 10 of those plans that were approved by the Board of Transportation earlier this month, and we've been sending out award notifications to those communities this week. So we'll be over the coming weeks kind of going back and forth to get local matches and get consultants under contract to get to work on those multimodal planning grants. In addition to that, the Transportation Disadvantaged Index tool was launched August 16th. So that is an interactive mapping site that looks at several different factors at the census block level group across the state to identify specific populations that may have experienced or may be experiencing undue burdens or barriers to transportation. So there's a training opportunity coming up next Wednesday, August 31st. And yeah, Ellie's got it right there, where folks can register to attend that training. Going to walk through a couple of use case scenarios, and then also it'll be a really great opportunity for people to provide feedback on the tool itself. If there's ways to be able to enhance that data, looking at improved visualizations, and then also looking at the scoring methodology. So that will be recorded if people are not able to attend that. But if you are, I think it would be a great opportunity to again talk to the project team about how that tool could better assist some planning efforts. And then finally, the S-Line TOD study, been quite a bit of progress on that over the summer. In early June, there were a series of 9 in-person design workshops throughout the study area. Later that month, the first of the TOD education series was held at Raleigh Union Station with a panel of folks from the development community to talk through some successful implementation of transit-oriented development in their communities. Also in July, there were walking tours in each of those communities along the S-Line corridor to kind of better refine some of what was heard at those design charrettes. And then moving forward, we've got some work that'll be happening in September. So the advisory and technical committee meeting will be held September 13th. And then also related to that, the recent RAISE award notification of $3.4 million in funding for several of those station areas along the S-Line corridor to look at mobility hub planning and implementation and preliminary engineering. So hope to have more information to share about that soon. And I think that's all I've got, but happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
And I would like to emphasize the great asset that the Integrated Mobility Division created with this transportation disadvantage screening tool. I will share this with our email, through email to our members. It is a tool that we have used to review service expansion area for transit. We have, and is also useful for nowadays that a lot of federal funds and grants that are available, some requirements of reviewing disadvantaged communities and see how can they improve. Like, this is a great tool that I recommend to review if you are applying for grants as you are grant writing, explaining the needs. So I will share with our members, and I definitely recommend to attend their webinar at the end of August.
All right.
Then, okay, I think we skipped transportation planning division in our agenda with Scott and Phil. Scott, Phil, do you have any updates for us?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Scott Walston with the Transportation Planning Division. Just a few little minor things. We've got the statewide multimodal transportation plan. I'm sorry, the statewide multimodal freight plan It's in its final stages, and hopefully it's going to be adopted by the Board of Transportation in the next couple of months. So anyway, that's coming up soon, and there's a carbon reduction plan that's due next year that our division's working on that. There's a resiliency plan that's scope is under review that I think Greenville will be very interested in due to recent flooding. And another thing I just want to mention, Phil did a great job of discussing the comprehensive transportation plan, but I want to stress that this is the first time that the Pitt County's plan and Greenville's plan, the MPO's plan, have been brought together into one unified, cohesive plan. So I just want to make sure that everybody takes a good look at those recommendations and gives it because hopefully this roll out over the next 6 months or so is going to be a first for the county. So and the MPO also. That's all I've got. If there's any questions.
And this is Ali with the Greenville MPO. I just also wanted to explain that, yeah, the CDP development, we are developing the 2.0 version, and the team, Scott and Phil, they have been working with the CDP 2.0 version that is also changing. So they have that challenge to deal with as they are developing this plan. So I really commend them for managing that aspect of the 2.0 version changing as we are developing ours.
Yeah.
The other there's actually another update that I forgot to add to this agenda, but it's among these discussion items. FHWA, we have FHWA representative Brandon Oliver with us. Brandon, you said you have updates for our board?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to put a few things out there. Currently, we have a few what we call notice of funding opportunities that are available with the Federal Highway Administration. Give me 1 second, I can actually pull a few of them up. Just to put on your radars, we have the Bridge Investment Program. The closing date is 9/8/2022. We have the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program with a closing date of October 13th, 2022. We have the Safe Streets for All noticing funding opportunity with the closing date of September the 15th, 2022. Just wanted to put that on your radar. You can visit fhwa.gov for more information on the various notice of funding opportunities. Thanks, Elliot.
Thank you. And I will be sharing the link to those funding opportunities from FHWA to our board. Next, we have the MPO updates. They are on page 66. I just created bullets just to keep our members informed. We have coming up, we have the Bywalk NC Transportation Summit. It is a statewide conference. It's going to be hosted here in October 27 to the 29 in Greenville. This is the first time, if I recall correctly, it's the first time we're hosting this conference, and I think this is the easternmost area that is being hosted. So we are really excited. It is going to be held in Eastern Carolina Heart Institute. You attached to the packet, page 68. 69. There's more information about the conference. I encourage our members to attend and participate. There's some information that you'll learn of the efforts locally and also statewide, which it is a great resource to have so close for our conference to be so close to us. Among the special studies that our boards briefly were updated last time, and we have, of course, supported these projects, is that the rail division actually was awarded the funds for the passenger rail feasibility study connecting Greenville to Raleigh. And that study is going to start soon. We are working with the rail division on reviewing the scope to make sure that everything we need, at least on our end, is provided. The city requested funds for the planning work program to develop the 10th Street bicycle and pedestrian crossing feasibility study. VHB Engineering has been selected as a consultant, and we had recently a kickoff meeting, and the study will start soon. You will hear more about it. The next item is just I wanted to keep in the radar of our board. This is something that will be part of our discussions in the coming years. It is called the Carbon Reduction Program. I know that Scott mentioned it during his update. So the Mpo has been awarded some funds as part of this carbon reduction program, and we don't have too much details of the extent of what we can do with the funds. We definitely, if you see the eligible activities that I listed there, there's some capital improvements related to transportation alternatives and some other ways to reduce those carbon emissions. So the next steps that we're going to have is we will have to develop the selection process of projects within our area that fits the criteria. And then our TCC and TAC will approve that selection process. So we have been working on getting more information on what this program is and seeing how other areas have been creating that criteria. So the project that we have to identify, and this is really important, that you have the necessary, if we are identifying a project, we have to make sure that our municipalities or local jurisdictions that are submitting this project have that 20% match to cover the funds of the project, because it's a cost share, and most likely it will be a reimbursement process. I will get more confirmation by our next meeting. So what that means is that you might have to upfront the cost of the project 100%, and you get 80% reimbursed back. That of course creates some challenges, and if that changes, I will update our members and let you know what has been clarified about this program. So it's just FYI, this is something to keep on the radar. We are going to discuss with our local jurisdictions to maybe have a work group to review this program and review which projects fall within the funding source and which priorities we already have identified in our metropolitan plan and our active transportation plan, among other studies that we have within our area. And that, if that is all for the Mpo updates. Let me know if we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions about the updates? If not, I guess we can move on to item 5, upcoming Mpo meeting schedule.
Yes, the next meeting is a joint meeting in December 7th. We have been in conversations with the city to actually host that joint meeting in person. I'm seeing if we could coordinate to bring some refreshments to have a meetup, since our next meeting, we will have plenty of items to review, and I think it will be a good opportunity to have it in person joint meeting.
All right. Sounds good. We're looking forward to it. December 7th.
Yes.
All right. Unless anybody has anything else, I guess we can officially adjourn, and I don't need a motion for that, right?
No, sir.
All right. Nobody's got anything. If I don't have anything else, I'll officially adjourn the meeting. All right, we're adjourned. See you next time.
Thank you.